up guys, it's Andrea and I'm back again with another video. Welcome back to my channel. It's so good to be back recording here again. So I know guys, I actually took a minute to get this video uploaded. I asked you guys, it was probably about a week or two ago, to ask me questions on my YouTube channel, on my little community section. If you have questions pertaining to nursing school, I would definitely answer them for you guys. And so in preparation of all that, I was actually preparing to take my ATI exit exam. So I really wasn't like all on social media. I wasn't paying too much attention to YouTube, but here I am today. I took my ATI this morning and I did pass. So I thought, you know what, I really want to get this video up for you guys. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So what I also do want to say is I actually got quite a bit of questions, and I do not want to make this video too long. So if I do see that it's going to get extremely long, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just split the video up into two different videos. All right, so starting with the first question from Brianna. She said, hey, I have a few questions and I love your channel, by the way. Thank you. How to stay focused while studying and tips for retaining information in A&P. So I also want to say, like, I noticed like quite a bit of few of these questions do pertain to studying habits or, certain things that I already have videos on. So to just, alleviate me going all in on that specific topic, what I would do is just go ahead and link the video down below, put it in the eye in the sky, something, so that way you guys can go ahead and get the direct link to the video if I have already discussed the topic. But as far as your first question, how to stay focused while studying, as far as like not getting distracted, if I know that my phone's going to distract me, or just having the TV on, certain things that I know are going to distract me, I think it's really important to have an environment where you feel like you can be 100% to your studies. If you have to put your phone on the other side of the room, which is what I do sometimes, also sometimes I do have to leave my house because sometimes I feel like I cannot study effectively here. Actually, it's been a lot, it's like that, frequently. Recently actually, that I cannot study here at the house, and it used to not be like that. So it's all about, like I said, having that good environment. A lot of times listening to like classical music. If you are going to listen to music while you study, do not listen to music, this is my personal opinion, I feel like is really helpful. Do not listen to music that has lyrics in it. And if you are going to listen to music that has lyrics in it, make sure you don't know the lyrics, because a lot of times I can find that to be distracting. So a lot, just listening to instrumentals, or like I said, the classical music is really, really helpful in, getting you in your zone. All right, next question is is from Tenaria Paulins. I've been reading a lot of posts about how people fail because of medsurg. What are your best study tips for that class? And when I get accepted into nursing school, should I review my A&P and start practicing dosage calculations? So to answer your first question, what are your best study tips for that class? I will say the study tips that I use for medsurg, for both medsurg 1 and 2, is actually the same study method of the video that I posted, I think a couple weeks back. What I'll do, like I said, is I'll either link it up below or up below. I'll either link it up or I will link it down below, so that way you guys can get a direct link to the video so I can go more into detail on that. The next question that Tenaria asked, when I get accepted into nursing school, should I review my A&P and start practicing dosage calculations? I would suggest that you do that now. Don't wait till the last minute, because I'm sure, with you getting accepted into nursing school, I don't know the time frame from you actually getting accepted and you actually getting started. So start reviewing as soon as possible, because like I told you guys before, with the A&P, once you start nursing school, they already expect you guys to know that they're not going to review that material. And then dosage calculation, yes, start doing that, as soon as possible. Like if you could start now. But I say that because, like I tell you guys, I hate dosage calculation, and I struggled in the beginning because I don't like math at all. So if you're a person who's not, that's not your strongest suit, try to start that as soon as possible. Look up, practice questions online. Actually, there's a dosage calculation book, and I think I've showed you guys this before. It's a dosage calculation book that's super helpful, and it has a ton of practice problems, so you can go ahead and get that practice in before you actually start school. All right, next question is from Sharika baby, I'm sorry if I pronounce y'all's names wrong. Should you work full-time or part-time? Should you work a full-time or part-time job during your first semester at nursing school? I'm gonna answer that right now. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no if you don't need to. If you need to, I understand life happens. Most of you guys may be mothers or have families. Again, we all have outside responsibilities outside of nursing school. If it is an absolute must that you can't live without working, you have other stuff that you need to pay for, or you need to pay for school in general, I can't say no to that. You know, you have to work. But do I advise it? Absolutely not, because you trying to time manage work on top of trying to adjust to nursing school is going to make the whole transitioning phase of actually getting accustomed to nursing school a lot more difficult versus somebody who is, you know, who's not having a job and is just having to adjust to nursing school and period, if that makes sense. So to sum that all up, if you do not have to work, I do not advise it at all. And then how do I deal with stress and anxiety? The answer is simple. I pray. I pray several times throughout the day. And then again, this is just what works for me. We all have our own ways of meditating and coming into ourselves and things like that. But for me personally, I have to pray. And it's just that simple. I have to. Next question. Sean Gorgeous asked, what does your class schedule usually look like from a freshman to senior in nursing school? Next question was, how many classes are you taking a day, and does it involve traveling a long distance? Okay, so I don't want to go through every single semester on how my actual class schedule looked, because to be honest with y'all, I can't even remember. But I will say specifically for my third semester, I was only at school all day on Mondays, and then I had a clinical, I don't remember what day it was, but that was like the semester where I did not have to come to school as much. And that was my OB and PD rotation. So that was a good semester because I had a lot of free time on my hands. But last semester, because I was taking mental health and medsurg too, I was at school literally every day, and I had clinical. When I was in my psych rotation, I had clinicals on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then when I was in my medsurg rotation, I had clinical on Tuesdays. This semester, I'm taking leadership and management and community health nursing process, and then 2 clinicals. I'm at school every day, and then I have clinical every day, Tuesday and Thursday. And does it involve me traveling long distance? No. For me, no, because I actually live close to my school. Some of my friends, however, don't. So I guess really it just depends how far you actually decide to stay from school. I do feel like, because I know sometimes I do have a hard time, especially when the semester is further on down the line, I do have a really hard time getting up early sometimes. So I found it best for me to just go ahead, spare me some time if I do have to pay a little bit more just to stay kind of closer to the medical center, which is where my school is. Then that's just what I'll have to do versus me going out very far, miles away from the actual school, having to sit in traffic, and then risking the actual factor of not, you know, waking up early and actually missing class. I'd rather just stay close. All right, next question is by Azaria Foster. Hello, I'm in my first term of nursing school, and I am currently struggling to retain all of the information in my pathophysiology class. Y'all know how I feel about patho. I hate patho. Do you have any tips on retaining information, any do's or don'ts? So really the only class that you can use memorization is pharmacology. I know you didn't ask about that, but I do have, you know, sometimes people ask me, how do I memorize all this stuff? Really, majority of your, you know, classes in nursing school, you cannot study to memorize. You have to be able to study to apply. So what I would say is really it's all about repetition and actually getting that information into your head. First of all, you need to figure out what style of learner you are. Are you a visual learner? Are you an auditory learner? Are you a tactile learner? I think that's tactile. I think that's what it's called. Do you have to do stuff for you to actually understand, you know, the information? That's key, because, you know, I tell y'all all the time, I have to watch videos on YouTube all the time, but that may not work for the next person. So that's the key, figuring out what style of learner you are and then going from there. It's going to be, you know, benefit you a lot in the long run, because at that point in time, you're actually going to be able to retain the information. All right, next question, which I actually thought was super good, from Kim D. Have you experienced a scenario at clinical where a patient disrespected you? If so, how did you deal with it? For me, I'm thinking, and when I saw this question, I honestly had to sit and think, was I ever disrespected at clinical? And honestly, guys, I can say I never have been. The only thing that's probably ever happened is like me, because you know, like when we go into clinical, we have to ask the patients, is it okay that I'm, you know, your student nurse for the day, following your nurse around, you know, this, that, and the next. The only thing that's ever really happened was like a patient telling me, no, I don't want you. Like, I don't want a student nurse today. Then that's not even disrespectful, because everyone is entitled to their own, you know, their right, their opinion, and what they want. But I will say, just to like add on to that, when you walk into clinical, you have to kind of leave, if you're a sensitive person, if you take things to heart and stuff like that, you kind of have to leave that at the door, because you never know what you're going to encounter going into clinical. And I'm sure going in as a nurse, it's kind of the same concept. leave your sensitivity and your feelings at the door, because honestly, I'm being brutally honest, there's no room for that. Because I already know, like, just from experience or like seeing people, sometimes if a patient, you know, says something to you, or a nurse, or just somebody in the hospital in general says something to you, I know that can kind of, I know that can kind of stay on your mind, and really that reflects your performance. So just leave your feelings at the door. Don't take everything to heart, and just remember, a lot of these patients that we come across, this is a very stressful time in their life. They're going through things, they're sick. So a lot of times the things that they do or say that you may feel like are disrespectful, they probably, you know, they probably don't even mean it. It may be like a reaction to, you know, what they're going through. So at the end of the day, try not to take those things personal. All right, next question from Jamaican Flavor 11. I like that. Hey, do you plan on going into a residency program or starting into work? Thanks and best of luck. Thank you. This is actually a really good question. Once again, all of y'all's questions are really good, but I really want to, I don't know, I'm gonna do both. Well, I'm not gonna do both, but I'm gonna apply for both. I know it is best to start off in a residency program. We do have some options that I'm looking at right now as far as, you know, applying. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm actually interested in both. All right, so Stay Gold asked, I'm only taking my general education, or I'm sorry girl, you're taking only something right now, but any tips would be appreciated. Hopefully the tips that I'm already telling you, you know, answering as these other questions are kind of helpful, as well as going to my study, how I study nursing school tips. I have tons of videos on tips, I'm sure you guys know. But if there's anything specifically, like a specific class you want to know about, just message me on Instagram and I will definitely try to help you out as best as I can. All right, and then the last question that I'm actually gonna have on this part one is by Brittany Barlow. She said, how do you balance studying in nursing school with notes, assignments, etc.? All right, so I actually have a video on this, how I balance my life out. I'm in my last semester and I'm still trying to balance it out. It's really all about knowing how to prioritize and time manage, being organized. I want to say be organized, guys, but I can't even sit here and tell y'all to be organized when I know that I'm not 100% organized half the time. It's like I said, just being able to time manage and giving your time. Like, I have a test coming up on, what day is that? Wednesday. But I also know that I wanted to get this video up and record it for you guys. So it's sacrifice, and it's just making sure, like, if I'm saying, okay, the time right now is 3:33, I'm saying I need to be done with recording this video and the part 2 by 4:30, so by 5 o'clock I can study, you know what I'm saying? So just plan everything out and you'll be good. You'll be good. Don't overthink it. I think that's what happens to a lot of people. They overthink it, and you know, just don't overthink it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this part 1. If I did not answer your question, please don't fret. It will be in part 2. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay up, stay with it, and I will see you guys in the next video.